And so now, Eyal, you work at the Heritage Center at Emmanuel Center. Tell us about that.
I had no idea in the beginning about the history of this place. As the years went by, I started learning more about the uniqueness of the history of this place, of the people who invested and gave their lives for this place to be a reality, and basically laying the foundations for Zionism, even the beginning of the restoration of Israel, Jerusalem, beginning of the Messianic community. All these things start right here. And so I've always had a very deep connection with this place. But even after I started working here as a guide, it even intensified because, like, this story here is incredible. And being able to worship here as an Israeli Jew, living in Yeshua, in this place, like following on the footsteps of those who went before me and honoring these heroes who made this a reality, for me, it's a huge, huge privilege. So telling this story to others is always, again, a privilege and a blessing. So this is what we do here with the groups, the people who come here.
And so this is Christ Church that you're talking about.
Christ Church, Jerusalem.
Can you tell us about your job with the Heritage Center?
Okay,
like, what do you do?
When groups come, or individuals, families, there's the church that is very unique because it's unlike any other church because it was built with a strong focus on the Jewish people. So there's a lot of Hebrew inscriptions and Jewish symbols. It almost looked a synagogue. So the church itself tells half the story. So we tell about the pioneers who came here, the first Protestants, to establish the work here, with a strong focus on being a blessing to Israel and being a testimony of God's goodness. And then we have the museum behind us, where we have all these very interesting models of Jerusalem, Second Temple period, of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, a very amazing model of the Temple Mount.
And how old are these models?
So about 150, 160 years. The person who built at least most of them was very much connected to this church, this community. Very famous person in Jerusalem of the 19th century. And he was one of the first archaeologists and model builder. Very, very special. And it's very accurate because he had access to many of these places that today maybe you cannot access, especially the Temple Mount. So there's a lot to tell. There are also different panels on the walls telling the story of the place, the mission here, everything these guys established, like the first hospital, schools, first school for girls, industry, olive wood industry. There's a little bit about Messianic Jews for those who are interested. So there's a lot to cover. It never gets boring because, we tell the same story over and over again, but it's so inspiring that you never get tired.
And so there's one part in there in the Heritage Center where you look down and there's a deep, deep hole. Tell us about that.
So 200 years ago, this place was established as the British or the Protestant center. But if you go back 2,000 years, this was actually part of the complex of King Herod's palace. So there's a lot of stuff going on here underground. So what you look down into is one of the cisterns that we have here from that period. So 2,000 years ago, you can actually see where the street level of that time used to be. And it's only one of 12 cisterns that we have here underground. So there's a lot to tell about this place, historically, archaeologically, theologically, a lot.
And they may not have even known what they were setting up over top of.
No, it was really the providence of the Lord, bringing them here and even making it possible for them to purchase this property back then when it was an impossible thing to accomplish. So all these things, you just see the hand of the Lord in everything, in every single thing. And the fact that this place exists until today, and it belongs to the same organization, they've always been faithful to the original vision, to be a blessing to Israel, to be a witness to Israel. And basically, the biblical promise becomes a reality. Those who will bless you will be blessed. And you can see it, you can feel it here.
Amen.
And people coming here, they always say there's something special about the atmosphere here. Even though they don't understand anything, they just feel it. So very, very special place. I feel extremely blessed to be here, to work here, to pray here. Just incredible.
Well, it's a blessing for us as pilgrims to hear you and being excited, and to have a Jewish person actually tell us the story and how it all comes together so beautifully. But I was also thinking, because we may be over King Herod's palace, this may be where they brought Jesus to be scourged.
Right. So there's one theory. Of course, you cannot prove it. That this is where Pontius Pilate used to sit on his judgment throne. And this is maybe, or very close to this place, is where he was actually given his sentence. So the famous Via Dolorosa, the way of the cross, may have started here.